Greetings and good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to Head to Toe with Dr. T in your favorite channel, Pumakapa TV. Thank you for switching on and welcome once again to our interesting topic for tonight. Geyazi galusira ngempilo sukela enhloko yothelizwaneni head to toe. Sukela enhloko yothelizwaneni okanye sukela ezwaneni yothenhloko. Either way. Namhlanje niphethele very interesting people that are our guests and you'll get to know them thoroughly. For the next 30 minutes. My guests, can you kindly introduce yourselves? Greetings and introduce yourselves to our viewers. And once again, thank you for honoring our invite.
Thank you for having us.
Good day, everyone. My name is Anelisa and I'm 24 years of age and I'm a transgender man from Zwide, Gqeberha.
Hi everyone, my name is Siyanda. I'm 29 years old. I'm a transgender man from Ekomani, Queenstown. I currently stay here in PE.
Yes, transgender men and transgender men. When you say you are transgender, even before I get to the subject of today, for someone who's watching, what is a transgender man?
To me, being trans it means that you identify as the opposite sex that you were naturally born with. As much as you have a certain sex that you were born with, but you identify as the opposite, which it means, but I can dingazalwa, dimfana, dintombi. But during the course of ukula or anything, I feel comfortable with identifying as the opposite sex. Then I'll take steps. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to take medical steps, but it's a personal decision whereby, okay, you go like, I am nangoku. So I decided to take medical steps into transitioning. That's where the trans term comes into. It necessarily means transitioning, which means change. Yes.
So you are changing from, you say transgender man. It means you are transitioning from being a woman to become a man.
Yes.
Do you regret that you were born a woman? Is it a question of regret or is it a question of identity? Someone could be going through the same phase that you went through. What happened? What prompted the whole
Growing
issue?
up, I never felt a sense of belonging in my biological sex. I had to act a certain way because that was what happening around me. I was not exposed to different identities. It was only male and female in front of me. So I had to go with what works for me at that time. So I had to go with the societal standards, which was, okay, now, siselokshin. So anzokwazi vele ndilale ndivuke and be like, ayike mama, because I don't know where she stands with sex and gender identity. So I had to be a girl. I had to wear heels, wear dress, and then when I got to age 9, I like, this is not working for me because
So you're still at junior secondary?
yeah. So when I got to age 9, people are calling me John Cena, WWE. I'm playing football. I play cricket. I play chess. I play sports. I play mainly sports. And I was like, it's not a sports thing for me. It was a matter of now I'm in a surrounding with boys and I feel comfortable. I don't have to hide behind a dress or a heel just so I can. Being in dress and being in a heel or being whatever hairstyle, it did not give me the room to be in myself. So I had to find spaces. That's where the difficulty comes in, finding spaces of belonging, because where we come from and where we live, I only got introduced to gays and lesbians when I was in grade 8. I didn't know what was that.
Okay.
So I had to okay, ngoku.
So it's not a question of being influenced.
No,
You were as young as age 9.
yeah. I already knew what was
just
up.
take it across to Siyanda. Siyanda, Usine has actually mentioned the issue of sex. For someone who's watching, there's issue of sex, which is biological sex.
Yeah.
There's issue of gender, and then there's issue of sexual orientation. What happened in your own case, and at what age, and how did you start this journey?
Wow.
Are you trans
Yes.
woman or trans man?
I'm a transgender man, and for me, it took a while to actually be comfortable in saying that to myself. I think also I grew up in Nkulele Lalini as well. It's a small farm in Queenstown.
Oh, Zotvater?
Yes.
Okay.
And Makhulu.
Sure.
And ekakhululaleni there isn't much of a diversity when it comes to abantu. You know, as Anna said, there's girls, there's boys. At school, elalini, they're always saying, "Gwash, gwash, makhwenkwen," because I've always been with the boys. I've always played the boys' sports. But my grandmother was a person who just allowed me to be.
Okay.
So from the first time I bought Christmas clothes, or just clothes, I would wear kodroyam, my techies, and she just allowed me. I didn't want to wear girls' underwear. I wanted to wear a bikini, and she bought those for me. And I soon realized how people treated me, maybe at school, when I would have to wear a school uniform, that, oh, okay, now this is not okay when maybe other girls can see me that I'm wearing a bikini, that girls don't wear that. So I quickly then,
So you paid all my phone.
I was just, you know, it just didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense. It was also, I played really like CM Lanjeni, it just, it just didn't feel comfortable. So, so those things for me quickly made me, you know, realize that I need to learn society, because then if I don't learn how to act, people are going to treat me differently. So I had to study how it is to be a girl and what it means to be a girl. And I acted out that perfectly. And also I had to learn what it means to be a boy, because also when you're being with boys, they will tell you, oh, now you're being a girl, you're being soft as well. But in my personality as well, I'm a person who's very emotional.
Sure.
I'm inclined with my emotions, and I like people to talk about how they feel.
Awesome.
That's why I chose the profession that I'm in. And so those things, when you're amongst boys, then they would say those are girl stuff. And when I'm with girls, and then I want to play those kind of games, they'll say, no, you don't do that. You don't kick a ball, you throw a ball. Those are boy stuff. So those two gender binaries, I had to always move along with them. So for me, my gender identity was something that I knew before I was even taught, but this is a gender identity. I just knew that I wanted to
Were you not
play.
lost within yourself?
Did
Did you know what exactly you were becoming, or you were regretting the body that you were in? You wanted to be something else. Didn't you feel confused, or
I think
before you even attempt to address that question,
Yeah.
we're just gonna take a short break,
Yes.
and then when we come back, we're gonna look into the issue of menstruation. We're gonna take us through
Yes.
that,
Yes.
because I've heard people frustrated and going through menstruation and hiding pads and everything. I hope you guys haven't done that. But and then we'll be back. We're talking to the two transgender men in front of us. They are taking us through the chapter of their lives, and I hope everyone is watching so that people don't get frustrated. And the issue of sexuality is much deeper than some of us understand, and we don't need people to kill themselves, commit suicide, or get rejected. Issues of discrimination, issues of stigma, of people not getting to health establishments because of our lack of understanding of how people are. Stick with us. Welcome back, and thank you for not moving an inch. We're talking, if you know the acronym LGBTQIA+, we are more on the T today, the trans component of it. Trans, because I've got transgender men on studio. Those are my guests, Anelisa and Siyanda. And a very interesting talk. The understanding is, when we talk about sex, we are referring to biological sex. That is what is in between your legs. In between your legs, you can have a penis, or you can have a vulva, vagina. Then if you've got the V, then we call you a female. If you've got the penis, then we expect, or we think that you are male. And then when we come to, and we can have something in between actually, which is called intersex, where you've got two organs, or what we call ambiguous genitalia. That is a chapter on its own. which is why it's important when you go to hospital and visit parents, this question of asking, "Uyintoni umntana," and whatever, it may create havoc and stress, especially if the kid has got some of those things. Doctors have still to work out what is going to happen. Then that is the issue of biological sex. Then the second one is the issue of gender. Gender relates to someone. How does this person identify, or how does this person interpret himself or herself, irrespective of what is in between the legs? So gender is an issue that is constructed socially and societally, and is mainly made around what is called gender roles. If you are male, you are expected to behave in a certain manner, to dress in a certain manner. If you are female, you are expected to dress in a certain manner and do certain things. That is, but now it refers more psychologically and socially to the individual. What does this individual interpret himself or herself as, in terms of being male or being female or any other kind of population, as the acronyms. Then the issue of sexual orientation, it deals with issues of romantic attraction. What kind of people is this person attracted to in terms of love, romantically? What arouses him or her? Or what kind of people he or she attracts? That is issues of romance. That is issues of the heart. So it's between the legs, then the head, then the heart. It's three-legged pot. My people,
Yes, doc.
transgender men. It means you were born women, and then along the way, you say as early as age 9, and as early as age
9 or 10.
9 or 10, or you found that, and it's even very challenging for you because you're staying with your grandma in rural areas. People don't even know an inch about sexuality. They know this is a girl and whatever. The issue of menstruation, let me start with you. You expect you're going through periods as soon as you hit puberty. How did you handle that?
I had my first cycle when I was 12.
Okay.
So I knew it was coming, but I was not mentally and prepared for it because I didn't know how to act, and my mom didn't really prepare me for it because she didn't know how to cater to such a. I was a tomboy, so she
Yeah.
doesn't know on what drums I stand.
Ubamba.
Yeah, danrola. So incomfortability oba okay ngoku kuza kwenza NBNC and so. So I saw around the house because I live with girls, so I was like, hey, nxitywa le nto sure, be comfortable le nto. So I had my first cycle when I was in school. I was like, yo, hayi ke ngoku. I went back home. My mom was like, you can wear this now because this is happening. I was like, okay, cool. I felt discomfort. I didn't enjoy it because I had severe pains.
Yeah, honestly.
But it made me very uncomfortable because I was already uncomfortable in my body. So this is happening now. So I also have to process lena into eyenzekayo ngoku. Khe ndime ngoba ngoku, okay, I have to shift the focus. Okay, anesipho ngoku, and ingathi yayilaa nto yobethelela ba you were born again.
Yes.
Ingathi sisitampu soba iyagxininisa ngokuba hayi ke sekunje, it is what it is. So I had to be accepted, but then I was never comfortable with it, and then
Bubamba neped.
and then rolla the head, then the rolla nayo.
And then the dress code yako, how were you dressing? To school,
Very
to
masculine.
church, to wherever?
Very masculine.
Okay.
School, I wore a tunic. Scholar very strict. Scholar some when it comes
Sure.
to dress code and stuff. So I wore a tunic, grade 8, grade 9, got to grade 10, shaved my hair. I'm like, okay guys, popping now. Shaved my hair. Then I wore a tracksuit pant. It was also an issue because we had dates. We had days, Wednesday and Friday.
Okay, sure.
Nake ngoku, I want to make it an everyday thing because, and at that time I was identifying as a lesbian. So yabona ngoku lesbians nxiba njani. So manxibe, but it was also an issue indlela onxiba because at church kunxitywa iskate. I had to stop at church because I went to a certain church. So I had to sit there and I had to
So
look
the
around.
church wouldn't accommodate anything
Yeah,
outside of
yeah.
their norms.
I had to sit there, I had to look around. I was like, okay, girls are wearing skirts, but I don't identify as one. So I had to opt with what works for me. So I had to leave the church, unfortunately. I had to leave the church. And then I started dressing more masculine, having haircuts, having sneakers, everything that was boy, I was in it.
Siyanda, your friends? When did your friends notice, Ndomba, you are not what you appear to be? you are on a journey to somewhere. Or did you start telling them?
I had to start telling them. I grew up in a quite a religious household.
Okay.
All my uncles gabathanazeli somehow. And also for me as well, I quickly got into religion. I think also it allowed me to be in a space. I like to lead, I like to talk to people,
Sure.
to be in that space as well, to lead and talk to people. And I went to boarding school. My boarding school also was, you wear a uniform the whole time. Church, you wear a skirt. I got into a church where born-again Christians, and they believed...
Then at boarding school, were you staying with girls?
Girls.
Okay, sure.
Also a very interesting
Yeah,
period.
that's very interesting.
Yes, a quite interesting period of my life. Also then I had to wear, so all my
But it's
wardrobe...
even better on your side, because I imagine a gay person who's got a penis and then refuses to stay with men and once insists on staying with girls. And then girls, when they see this, and then, but usually their behavior and so on, people are beginning to demystify their fears and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna cut off for a minute. We're gonna take a sip of water, and then we'll be back. Then we'll continue with the journey. It's very, very interesting and eye-opening, and a lot of people have suffered from some of these things. That is why it is important to open your chapter, and not only for you, but for people who are watching and frustrated and trapped wherever they are. Stick with us. We're talking the T out of the LGBTQIA+. That is trans, which means across. Thank you for staying with us. It's Head to Toe with Dr. T. It's Monday, 7:30. Very interesting. And we're talking human lives as in what you're experiencing, so that you may learn. And also in learning, you are empowered so that you are able to handle some of these issues without being irritated, without being angry, without committing suicide, without taking an overdose. This is the 21st century. These are chapters that some of us need to understand, especially in areas of sexuality. What bad experience did you have in your journeys? You can keep exchanging. Just share.
For me recently...
And what roles were you playing? Expectations from parents. This is a girl. Were you doing more girlish stuff or more manly stuff in terms of chores, the gender roles? You are, as a boy, you are expected to be more on the crawl, and as a girl, you are more expected to be in the kitchen, especially in rural areas. How did you navigate all those things? And
Doctor, it's been a journey for me. At home, I grew up and they told me what a girl needs to do and how I should act. And it has always been, I remember the first time, because my body before teenagehood, it was very masculine. And I remember this one time, I was very young, this grandmother, I was playing, she pulled me and she actually wanted to check what is in between my legs because she didn't know. She didn't know. And as I played sports, I used to run, and there was one time, I always tell my friends this way, I was right about, like on the lane, right about to run. This teacher pulled me and she said, "This is not the boys' line." And I was also, I really wanted to run and I was ready to go. And I was so frustrated and I kept telling her I'm a girl. Even when I was saying that, it didn't make sense in my head because I know that I'm not.
yes.
But for that sake, and because I wanted to play sports and I wanted to win, I just had to like tell people. And I would go to bathrooms, my mom always had to go with me. Because then if I would go to the girls' bathroom, the person giving a toilet paper, they would be like, "No, boys this side." Or if I'm going that side, "No, girls this side." So it was always, so my mom had to always be there and be like,
So you're getting
Ntombazana.
chased from either side.
All the time, all the time. And even now, now it's a thing of, now that I've transitioned, I meet cis heterosexual men that feel threatened within being in a space with me. And one person attacked, like just verbally attacked me at the shops at Woma location, and be like, "Uyintonia, you're a boy, girl, uyinto," and things like that, and just went off at me. And I was so confused because I've never seen this person, we've never spoken, and he just went on. And those are the things that I quickly realized, and now when I have this conversation with my mother, that she always just tells me that don't fight, you know who you are, you don't need to convince people about your identity. She has seen me doing that since I was very young. She stood by my side. My mother's the one person that I didn't have to explain myself to her, because she's been in that journey, and she's a person that was willing to learn. When I went to home this December, it was the first time one of my extended cousins said, "Uyindoda yalapha, you need to start learning about Khelwa Kanja." And I was like, wow. Wow.
Anne, Siyanda has mentioned one important word, that now that I've transitioned, what does that mean? Now to have transitioned. Are you guys taking any medication? Are you doing anything to move from where you were biologically to somewhere?
I've taken steps of Kala, which is hormonal treatment. I take it testosterone every 2 weeks, injection. I've been taking it since 2021.
Okay.
I was approved like 2020, but I had internal battles of mama, you know.
Okay.
Now that I've taken this decision. But I had to be a little bit selfish. I had to accommodate myself other than trying to accommodate everyone else. As much as we don't like making people uncomfortable, but on what grounds? Why should I have tubamna diziti just so That's why I make sure are you comfortable? Because I don't like making people uncomfortable. So when I took a step of coming out, I went to therapy, told my mom and my father, okay, cool. And that was the last time we were spoken about.
And how was your father?
Yes.
I hear both of you are mentioning more your mothers. It seems your mothers were more understanding. You don't mention that.
My father has always seen me as his son. He has always called me Mfana, you know, he has always called me Gwedini. So
okay.
I knew he wasn't going to have an issue with it, which he didn't have, issue nayo. But then now we have to come back to cultural issues because you're expected. You can't wear pants. What's the whole point?
Yeah.
So we also have to I have to wrap around. So now that I've taken the step and I'm more masculine, beard, voice and everything, I make sure umdako uncomfortable. You know, that's my main thing. Because as much as uncomfortable, they're gonna act a certain way.
Sure.
And unfunum do I act a certain way because it's an affector. So at the very same time, I'm also protecting my mental health because I've struggled with mental health for so long.
Sure.
So now I'm at a space whereby, okay, Anelisa, A, B, and C, and D doesn't work for you mentally. What's the next step? Because powers of transition medically and all of these steps, they're gonna affect you mentally in all ways possible.
Yeah, so there's a need for a lot of counseling.
you have to
So
also
that you
be
know what you're
equipped.
doing.
Yeah. So when like Goku Ndaqala, I was like, mom, I took it like secretly. I was like, let me just go and take my testosterone. I came back, I was like, I gave Jani.
And Siyanda, the issue of breasts, boobs.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys squashing boobs or what are you doing with them? This one debate I've had with gay guys that they're squashing the impempes. Impempe yochama is not for sex. They're squashing them. What's happening with boobs?
I had to quickly learn as well the uncomfortability of binding. That is quite uncomfortable, but I also I have this thing I've noticed when I walk outside and I'm wearing a t-shirt, I always pull it like this so that it's a bit baggy.
Sure.
I don't want it to show. I think also I quite noticed. I remember the first time my mother bought me a bra. It stayed in my suitcase for a while. I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Unfortunately, it was run out of time. Then. Very interesting. And you and your poops?
I never learned how to be put. I don't know. And I know
Not at
strap.
all.
And then be strap or anything. Sports bra, but
Yeah.
I'm a very baggy guy. I don't like investing. So it t-shirts I'm always baggy because it's that oh, to know my friend the shop. I can't figure it the bonus. So now I always make sure cookies change.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to call it a day. Unfortunately, in fact, a night. We're going to call it a night. Goodbye and thank you for watching us. We're talking the T of the trans in the LGBTQI community because we've got our guests, the trans men, transgender men. It means they're actually taking some medication to become what they feel they are. If you've ever heard someone saying, I'm a boy trapped in a girl's body, and then what are you doing about that? That is where we are. And we don't want people to be frustrated. We don't want people to hate themselves for who they are, but for people to live freely without stigmatization, without discrimination, and all the duty we have is to love one another. Thank you so much.